In this scenario, Caitlin will demonstrate positive reinforcement on Tara. Tara is a college student who is becoming overwhelmed with her assignments and excessive work hours. This month in particular, Tara is aware she will have to put in extra hours at work due to a shortage of employees, meaning less time for studying. Caitlin, her mother, knows Tara is stressed and notices that Tara is doing more sleeping in her rare free time than studying. Her mother decides to set up a reinforcement schedule in order to help get Tara back on the right track.
Hey, have you done your homework yet?
No.
Hey, have you done your homework yet?
No.
First, Caitlin will determine a reinforcer that will be most effective on Tara by performing a preference assessment on her. The preference assessment is complete. The chosen reinforcer is keys. As well, the reinforcer should be readily available, presented immediately after the target behavior, can be used repeatedly without satiation, and not time-consuming. It is now time for Caitlin to apply the reinforcement schedule, but first must inform Tara of her plan.
Hey Tara, you know you should really be studying more often, and every time you do complete your homework for the day, you'll get the car.
Now that the plan is in action, each time Tara does study, Caitlin presents the keys immediately after, describing the reinforcer to Tara.
Mom, I'm done my homework.
Hey, I'm glad you finished your homework. Here are the car keys.
The reinforcement schedule has worked successfully. Tara is now spending her free time studying and catching up on her schoolwork in between classes and her work hours.
Okay.
It is now time for Tara to be weaned from the schedule. Caitlin will gradually eliminate the social reinforcer and at the same time introduce a natural reinforcement of Tara just going to get the keys herself.
Mom, I finished my homework. I'm going out.
Have fun!
After having been weaned from the program, Caitlin plans periodic assessments of Tara to ensure she is continuing to study and the reinforcement schedule was successful after completion of the program. Factors influencing the effectiveness of positive reinforcement. When applying a reinforcement schedule, there are many factors that will influence the effectiveness of positive reinforcement. Selecting the target behavior. Selecting the behavior to be increased must be attainable and within the time frame you are able to work with. Choosing the reinforcer. The reinforcers you choose to apply to the learner will generally be social, consumable, manipulative, activity, or tangible. The reinforcer must be one that will work most effective on the particular person you are applying reinforcement on. You can find this out by such things as reinforcer checklists, preference assessments, or interviews. Motivating operations. It is also important to find out the motivating operations for the learner and why they are displaying the target behavior. Without the motivating operations, it will be difficult to effectively and appropriately extinguish the target behavior. A couple examples of motivating operations may be sleep, eating, watching TV, or just relaxing. Reinforcer size. When choosing a reinforcer, it is important not to choose one or begin with a reinforcer that is too large and not equivalent to the behavior itself. If several or more trials are required to eliminate the behavior, it is best to work your way up in reinforcer size so as to minimize satiation. Instructions. Use of rules. While it is not necessary for the individual to be able to talk about or understand why they are being reinforced, use of rules can facilitate a change in their behavior. For example, it may speed up the process due to them being informed of the application of reinforcement. As well, instructions and knowledge of being reinforced may influence the learner to work for delayed reinforcement. In this case, Caitlin provided instructions to Tara by telling her she will get the car once her homework is complete for the day. Reinforcer immediacy. There will either be direct effect or indirect effect from a reinforcer being presented. Direct being increased frequency of a response due to the immediacy of the reinforcer, such as receiving the car keys. Indirect being the strength of a behavior that is being reinforced although the reinforcer is delayed. In this particular case, we strived for direct effect in order to reinforce studying immediately, which will in turn cause an indirect effect due to good grades. Contingent versus non-contingent. Adventitious behavior, that is when a behavior that did not actually produce the reinforcer but occurred following the reinforcer and is in turn strengthened, may occur during the reinforcement schedule. Superstitious behavior, which is behavior that is strengthened and maintained by adventitious behavior, may subsequently occur. It is important to ensure contingency of the reinforcers for the target behaviors. Adventitious and superstitious behavior may occur if the reinforcer is non-contingent on the target behavior occurring. Weaning the learner from the program. Lastly, influencing the effectiveness of a reinforcement program is also stemmed from weaning the learner off of the schedule, which is also relatable to the first factor of choosing the reinforcer. If you should choose a reinforcer that cannot be maintained by a natural reinforcer, it is much less likely that after the program is complete, the desired behavior will continue. In this case, tangible reinforcers were used during the program, but after having gradually weaned Tara off of the program, a natural reinforcer of receiving good grades took over and maintained the desirable behavior of studying.